Welcome everybody. Welcome everybody to tonight's show, the Barry Black Community Reloaded. I'm your humble host, West Coast Wolf. Tonight I want to talk to you guys about a subject. A lot of friends we want to talk about it. Been putting it off a little bit. Self-sufficiency. Self-sufficiency a must in this current political and economical climate. So as I went over this subject, I thought about, you know what? With all the things happening in the black community right now, I just see a trend. And from this, they first started out testing us with these things happening in Africa, this Ebola outbreak that happened right around the time that President Obama talked to the African Union. So the thing is, they created an outbreak. That was a lie, okay? But my point is self-sufficiency. And that a lot of people don't know during that time when they locked down parts of Africa like West Africa concerning the Ebola virus, troops came in and the ones they sent over there, I heard about it. I saw an article where they actually made some people stay in their homes for like 3 days. Now, if you know anything about certain countries in Africa, they got to go a little ways to get water. So just think to yourself, if you get locked down by the government, let's say some type of martial law happens in this country, and you are locked down to your absolute neighbor, you cannot leave your neighborhood. You cannot leave your block. What would you do? Better question is, how much do you have set aside in the event of some type of emergency? Now, I run this question over a lot of my different friends, and they constantly keep coming back short. Nobody has any extra water. Nobody has any extra food. And basically, they think this can never happen to us. But if you look at things that happen in Europe, in the Middle East right now, also in Northern Africa, these things are not happening by mistake, family. Although they may put a spin on it and make you want to think this happened just out of some type of local conflict. Let me tell you something. We, as the United States of America, we go to a lot of countries telling folks how to run their country, telling folks how to be, how to live. Why don't you think here in the U.S. community they can't do the same to us? See, we got to look at the lens on both sides because everybody gets in this whole deal about, wow, that's terrible in what's happening in the Middle East. That's terrible what's happening overseas or whatever. You know what? They have no idea that's what's coming here in a very short time. So I would advise people to not look at what's happening in the Middle East, in Africa, and other parts of the world, and just think that it's some kind of anomaly, like it just some one-off chance that just happened to happen all at the same time. While we're over here in America, kicking back, eating good, high off the hog, compared to so many other countries. So when this thing comes back full circle, I'll talk to some friends. When this thing comes back full circle, you're going to have to ask yourself, can I be self-sufficient without the government's help? Think about that. Because see, I'm going to tell you something now, family. The trend is everybody wants to live in the cities, the big cities. The trend is people don't want to have to go far to go to work. The trend is they don't want to have to even buy a car. The trend is also not to shop for groceries no more than a day or two. So when you get in that mindset in these big cities like San Francisco, a lot of times happening like downtown Oakland, as they convert it and change the country with the millennials flooding the workforce now, 84 million deep, starting to dictate what happens in the economy, starting to dictate what happens in the communities locally. And I'm looking at all these condos get built up. And the reason why I see it's going to be an issue because the U.S. is not doing as well as everybody thinks they are. And the reason why we haven't a serious collapse in this country just yet, since 2008, is because they keep printing the money. And as long as that money is valuable to other countries because they have to have the U.S. dollar to do business, to buy oil, once this dollar is no more, once it comes full circle, people like China are putting in Russia putting a push to be more of a power over the SDRs, which are special drawing rights. It's how they decide how the currency, what's worth what. And once they get in that pool, which goes live this October, they're gonna have a bigger say so about how the currency, the number one U.S. currency, is dealt with. Because right now we're the number one world currency. And in order to do business and buying oil for every country, which is what people need, you must buy in U.S. dollars. Think about that. If you got to buy you in U.S. dollars to buy your oil, okay, that means you have to keep a lot of U.S. dollars on hand as a country. Now follow me. I'm going to point to this. So if you have to keep constantly circulating U.S. dollars in your country to buy oil and whatnot, keep things on hand for you, what happens if the U.S. dollar is not the number one currency anymore? What if it's not the world's reserve currency anymore? Let's say China takes over. Very likely, family. The yuan takes over. The renminbi dollar takes over as number one international world currency. Now look on the flip side. Most of the things we get from overseas. Now, the reason I'm bringing these things up is when this thing shifts, and it's going to shift real soon, family. When this thing shifts, that currency that we spending every day is going to crash like the stock market exchange in 2008. And when our U.S. dollar is not the number one powerful currency in the world, and you got to buy China's money, you got to buy Russia's money, India's money, whatever, the BRIC nations' money, here's what's going to happen. Everything you getting at the house locally going to cost you a whole lot more now. So my thing is, and some of the colleagues have put together, we think it's very appropriate that we actually look and acquire some land for ourselves and start cultivating that land and build up a compound for our people. Now, some of us in agreement on that. And we're looking to see who's serious about, honestly, relocating if you had to another part of the Bay Area where you can get a hold of some land and build on that. I mean, we tossing it out there. See who's down with that train. Because I'm going to tell you something, family, when they finally weed out the rest of these black jobs, when they finally get the rest of the black folks out of the working system, and you can't make money, and you don't want to be a crime lord, you don't want to be out there on the street doing your thing, busting your gun, holding folks up, robbing and killing to get money because you can't get a job. When you don't want to be that person, some folks going to have to go over there and literally do outlandish things for the white man just to keep a little food on the table. So I'm saying my people like this, listen, we're going to be put in a very hard position in a real short period of time, family. And my thing is, if you have a real community, you have land, you have water, you got crops, you got fruit trees, you got vegetables. Let's say out of this 100 people, 200 people, let's say I don't know, it doesn't matter about the number. But the point is, let's say you got 100 people in your camp. Let's just bring it small. Let's say 50. You got 50 people in your camp. 2 or 3 of them can't find decent jobs. So what they do? Kick them out? No. We put them to work on the compound, helping around, doing what we need to do, cultivate, maybe the gardener, maybe, whatever. Everybody gets a job. Everybody gets a job. But when you have a community that's tight-knit and somebody don't have the best of, I wouldn't say luck, but best of things, fortunes happen with this job market and they can't make money, do they have to be on the street? Really, is that what we really want? People to be on the street, begging for money, begging for food to feed their kids. So I'm saying, well, you got a little money in your pocket, family, think about some things you need to think about right here. Let me see. You need to know how long a human being can go without water. How long? Well, I'm gonna give you the stats. The stats. Some people said a week. Okay, judging by people were shutting down like through cancer or whatever happened, like bedridden diseases. But then there's others say 3 days. 3 days without water, and it's over. So let's just say you got a quarantine, a martial law situation in the black community. They know where we all live. We live in the same areas. And if you actually don't have enough water to survive a martial law for your kids and yourself, who are you going to blame for that? Who? You can't blame nobody but yourself. So my thing is, you need to have food supplies for you and your family. You got to have, they say, 1 gallon of water per person per day. And if you have little kids, you got to look out for them too. Okay? So let me see. I'm going to pull something else for you guys here. The Red Cross. The Red Cross offers information on like CPR training and whatnot. And you can actually sign up for that locally. I see some places open up in Oakland for like $100 to get CPR training, first aid. You need to know these type of things for your family because in the event there's a crisis in America, black folks will be serviced last. So just think about that. And something just came up. I have to cut the show short today, but I'll be filling this up in further detail. But you guys have a good night. It's kind of early. You guys can follow up with us on the next show on Monday. But I have to get into something more serious at this time. But yeah, so follow us up on Facebook, Twitter, Bay Area Black Community, at Bay Area Black, and the Facebook group. Go onto our blog page on www.bayareablack.org, and you'll get some more information on what we're doing in the future. We're looking to have a screening for Hidden Colors 4 pretty soon as well. Look for that. I want to get a list of people who want to do that. Go ahead and hit us on the page. We will take your questions and comments there. And yes, so tonight, a little short, family. You guys have a good night. God bless you.